Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Bags and Designer Tags.
And we are discussing Drag Race Canada episode 3.
3. Mm-hmm.
3. Okay, all right. There is a lot in translation lost for me. I don't know who these people are. I didn't know Deborah Cox was Canadian until today.
I didn't either, actually.
So, because she did that great Southern, like, How Did You Get Here video. Remember that? That was played at every club.
Yes, that is a legendary song.
I was like, I fully thought she was from Georgia. Like,
well, she might just be. They could have just got a regular guest. Is each guest Canadian?
No, I think at one point during the episode, they said Canada's own Deborah Cox or something like that.
They did. Well, they said that for her, or did they say it for the reporter? Are you getting the reporter and her confused? Because they do look alike.
Girl, let's not get on that reporter right now, because I was like, who invited you?
Oh, shit, I forgot to include her, actually.
Oh, well, let's just talk about her now. I was like, who are you? Why are you here? How did you get, who let you in?
Well, I guess she's like a news anchor. It would kind of be
right. Well, maybe she's big on some morning program or something.
Yeah, perhaps it's like the equivalent of like having like a Anderson Cooper or something, maybe.
I guess, but I was like, girl, could nobody help her with that wig? Like, there was just a whole lot of wrong going on with her.
If you could clock the wrong in the wig, then you know it's bad.
You know I don't know much about that. So
yes.
You know, that wig looked like it cost $45 from the Beverly Johnson wig line.
That's so true, though.
The queens in the mini challenge had better wigs than the wig she had on her head on her best day. That wig true. That Viola Davis had in The Help, you know, when she's got the wig off in the bathroom, looked better than that wig.
You're a mess, but that is true. That wasn't really bad, but I was also offended by the jumpsuit too.
Oh, I couldn't even. I was just like trying to. I thought it was like one of those like faux like légère like dresses the news reporters wear. I didn't even clock it was a jumpsuit because I was just trying.
Oh no, it was a loose jumpsuit essentially.
So yeah, I am more lost on Drag Race Canada than I am Drag Race Britain. Like I got.
Well, like I said, I told you it goes back to the UK has a culture that transcends to American culture, and like we kind of meet.
I was fighting you tooth and nail on the last episode because you were like, Canada is late. They're so behind. I was like, my God, he's acting like they don't have internet or they live in Antarctica.
No, I don't mean, I know, that's the thing. Like, I don't mean they're behind in the sense of like the things, they're comparable in everything way, but I'm just talking about like pop culture. They're they're behind in the sense of they're not known. Like, they're just like, they're what it is they're, you know, UK works with us. Like the UK, they work with us like, we communicate well and we share our stars, if you will, and we care about each other's stars. Like we almost care more about the queen than they do. Right. You know what I mean? But like in Canada, it seems like that's a thing where it's like if you only Canada people care about Canada artists. It seems like that's what it is.
Yeah. I was going to say my whole point, and like, I thought you tooth and nail disagreeing with you for an hour, and I was like, Ronald is completely right. I don't know any of these people. I don't know what they do.
But I bet in Canada,
maybe they don't have internet.
Like, that bitch is everything. I bet in Canada, that's like, it's everything. But it's interesting though that like, not that many of their stars, like the only ones that come to mind that really has crossed over from Canada and are super big are like Drake and stuff like that. But
right. Well, Justin Bieber's from Canada, Ryan Reynolds, Alanis Morissette, but they've all absorbed into the American zeitgeist.
That's what I'm saying. Right? But Drake actually still lives there, I believe.
Yeah, no, Architectural Digest did a story on his home. It was incredible.
His home's kind of tacky though to me. But anyway.
Yeah, my mother didn't like it either. It was very sterile. Like, there was no warmth to the house. I felt like living in a museum, and I don't like spaces like that.
Well, no, I don't mind that, because I like sterile, because I'm very, like, she's hard edges, that's her. But I just meant it looked gaudy.
You said it, not me. Okay, well, here's the boy illusions for the Canadian Drag Race crew. Oh my, there's just...
I just think I always am really just intrigued by boy illusions for Drag Race, because it's just like, it's so interesting how they can go from fish to just lumberjacks. because that's what they're
Yeah,
giving here.
there is just a whole lot of look here between this little faux fur shrimp's coat, these tights, Boba be looking like a fluorescent buffalo, um, this one with the leather pants, Jimbo looking like she exited the S&M club.
Right.
King-
Well, and that's what's so interesting about it is because their boy doesn't necessarily match their personality. Their boy looks don't match their personalities, really. Like even what is it, Anastasia, I believe is her name. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like she's trying to channel like a fuck boy meets queen, like, and then
Yeah, it's just it's like you said, it's always very interesting to me. They're never really fashionable as men, and maybe they're just packed whatever because they were so concerned about the drag looks. But they never, no one ever really gives you like I've never once said in all the seasons of all the countries in Drag Race that's a really fashionable man. Never, no, because there never is.
yeah, and no, well, I mean, I don't even mind if it was just a t-shirt and jeans. I'm not expecting you to pack a suit, but it's just interesting that they're like that because it seems like what they have packed though is their actual like self-expression. So it's just like your
It's just
self-expression
like
is a
everything they're always wearing looks like it comes from one of those like awful like clothing stores on Santa Monica Boulevard in LA or like
yeah, and it's just like your self-expression. Your self-expression when you're in drag is a beautiful gown. For example, a good example would be Trinity.
mhm.
Trinity Taylor. Your drag is so elevated and expensive, but when you that's your self-expression when you're in drag, but your self-expression when you're in a boy is pants from 2010, denim, motorcycle. You know,
Well,
the knees. She wears things like that.
yeah, they're probably just putting so much money into the drag
So
look. Like there's so little left over for boys, so it's just like whatever's there, you know.
but what's wrong with a jeans and t-shirt? Just plain.
I know.
So I'm just, and that's what makes me be like, oh, well, then that's why my only conclusion is, well, that's their actual aesthetic. They actually like that. But I mean, isn't Trinity from the South? So it could just be
yeah, Florida. Speaking of, just
so close
take
enough.
exchange Santa Monica Boulevard for wherever the main gay street is in Orlando, Florida. You know, same
Exactly.
thing.
And then we have this one, and she had the nerve to tie that plaid around her waist.
That's Boba, right? Not the
Yeah, that's Boba.
okay.
Boa, I mean.
I
Yeah.
can't even keep these girls straight. I'm so like not interested in them. Okay,
Okay,
so once
so
again, another thing, lost in translation. Literally have never heard of this Ralph person. She could have passed
so
me
so
on the
what's funny
street.
is I had to kind of retract my statement of how the stuff doesn't quite make its way to America because once I was watching this, I was like, who the fuck is that? So then I was like, let me do some research, and then I looked on my iPad, I mean, my music section, my iPad, and my phone on iTunes, and I was like, I looked up Ralph, and I come to find I actually had a song saved by her, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think the reason I found that song was because I'm musical. I'm always constantly shazamming something in a store. So when I hear something, it resonates with me. And I think I found that one from. I want to say I shazammed that when I was at like a H&M or something like that, and then it came up. So I think that's how I found it. I don't remember for sure, but I think that's how I found it. Or it's from like the soundtrack from a movie. But that being said, even though I was able to find it, the point is still though I managed to still hear that music here since it's a Canadian song, I guess, I still didn't know who the fuck it was. So like, even though there are times where like the big artist, I guess, like her makes its way here, it's just like, we still don't know them. So it's just like, I want to figure out how can we fix that? Like, how come? Why is that? Because I know of a couple of like big British singers, but it's like, why doesn't it work the same for Canada?
And it's just so weird to me too because it's the country that's like adjacent to us. So it's like you're right, we totally don't
Yeah,
share as much culture as we do with Britain. And so
exactly.
it's funny there's an ocean between us, but yet we can't share anything, with that because we really are cut off. The most I've heard about Canada in recent years would either be Justin Thoreau, their president, uh,
Right.
uh, not Justin Thoreau, Justin Trudeau, uh, Celine Dion, and then Meghan
Oh
Markle.
yeah, and Celine
There.
Dion. Yeah,
Like, that's
exactly.
like my extent of Canadian knowledge of what's going on in
Exactly.
Canada. And then this was interesting for me because, I keep up, with the balletic choreographers and the modern choreographers. I'm not really so much into like the music video people, but I at least kind of have a
Well,
sense
I
of
don't know
it.
if you would know her, bitch, because she gives you hip hop and.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that why I don't know? Because I had no idea
I
what.
think she gives you like hip hop and like music video choreography. You're more of a ballet fish. I think she's like. I think what it is she's like a Todrick there.
Oh, our
Well,
Todrick
Todrick.
there. Okay. See, because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I know the Todricks. I know that sort
Well,
of
I mean, you
stuff
know Todrick
from
because of like
Instagram.
he's like gay too, but he's also a choreographer too because he's choreographed for Beyonce.
I was living for that moment where he was like, "This is my assistant." I was like, "Oh, they would never allow that on American Drag Race." The
No, they
assistant
do.
needed
No,
to do.
Todrick always brings his.
Oh, he
His
does.
is that little white girl
Oh,
or some. It's either that white girl with red hair or that Asian queen.
all
Those are
right.
normally his assistants because I've watched his show before because he had like a little YouTube show and yeah,
Well,
he
I'm
would
glad
show
you
them. They were
know.
always on it. But how about her and that? How about her and those unfortunate dipped dyed hair, giving you very Christina Aguilera circa 2000?
All I wanna do.
Yes.
What's funny? I didn't even think you were referencing something that old because you're younger than me. But I thought she did that die moment again for that awful Bionic album. So
Oh, that's true. She did, huh? But
I thought
that was
that's
a
what you
little
were
bit
going to
more. That was
reference.
a little more current, though, huh?
I thought that's what you were going to reference.
No, because this one looks more like the 2000 one.
Yeah, I mean, it's line for line the same thing. The only difference is the color.
Yeah, I was just like, oh no,
Okay, so the moose knuckles. So
they're gonna sing and dance.
I am just like mesmerized, like as a dancer, like former dancer, that like when
No,
drag queens cannot pick up choreography because you're essentially a performer, like you may be a comedy queen or more of an actor, or more of this. That it was really simple choreography. I was like, why are you guys having so much trouble? Yeah, I was like, yeah.
why can't? What was the problem? But
It was bad. It was awful. Like it was really shameful for
no, honestly, truly, I would say this was the worst. Well, go to the next clip because we saw like so they make it on stage
uh,
and this truly was just this was the I think I want to say this was the worst like music or song whatever
mhm.
performance that I've ever seen on any of the drag races simply because what I've always been really impressed by on Drag Race is that oftentimes there'd be like at least a girl or two that is not seeming to pick up the choreography like she's just not getting it.
Right. They always paint it so dramatically, like how
Yeah,
they couldn't pick it up, and then the next day it's like flawless.
yeah, and then I
Yeah.
see it and I'm just like, oh well, everyone's at least doing fine.
Mhm.
This was the first time I was like, no, they are not even doing fine.
Yeah, they did a lot of cutaways. I
Mhm.
noticed that they were really messing up, and then the camera would cut away. They cut away a lot to save face
Yeah,
for these people because if we were watching this at the club, we would have been booed. Like,
right.
people would have been throwing, like, bottles at them. And so now the other thing is that, like, we kind of have alluded to this, and I'm kind of putting it all together recently, because we kind of weren't so impressed with the All-Stars, like, big number that they did this either. I think they're really trying to get that, like, Regia Rocha moment where they were so flawless, Alaska and Detox and
Mhm.
Roxy, and it was just
Yeah,
so I mean, they still play it at the club today,
yeah.
so because it was so good. And I think they're still trying to find that again, and I'm like, it's not happening. That's like a once in a lifetime filming, that's so legendary. But they
But I
keep
feel like
trying
for
to
the most part, though, they always like get it together in the end, like with the
right,
production and the dance.
enough to give you
Like
like a
they
B
all,
plus. Yeah, a B plus.
yeah,
This
and they
was
always at least I've never seen anyone be on the main stage and simply not know the choreography. This
yeah,
was the first time. Like
yeah.
they just did not know it
This
at
was
all.
a solid D. This
Yeah,
was really, really bad. And what was incredible was there were like no lifts or anything really intricate. And
yeah.
I'm like,
It was such
once
easy
again, like you
choreography.
said,
Yeah.
how hard
It
was
was
that?
not.
One, two, three, four.
Cha,
One,
cha,
two, three, four. You
and
know,
you're gay. You should already have a limp wrist. So what's the problem?
yeah.
Like
It's like you said. I mean, it was just awful. I mean, it was a D. It was a D
it
performance.
was it was unacceptable for them to and then quite frankly who's that one she had the nerve to say she used to back oh so I guess she is in Canada because she said she used to background dance for Deborah Cox and I'm like I was underwhelmed by your lip sync performance, and I'm underwhelmed by this. And you danced for Deborah Cox, but then again, she doesn't do much dancing, so she probably just sways.
Right, you know,
She probably just have to sway.
it was this. It was like, how did you get here?
Right?
Mm-mm-mm.
She's very stiff,
And
so I was really perplexed that she danced for her. Maybe when she
we've
was
all been
here.
to a peer dance where Deborah Cox has performed somewhere in this nation. Speaking of Deborah Cox, I live for that meme of the lady who does the ASMR. And so
Oh,
it's like her typing the computer, and it says, Deborah Cox filling out her unemployment form since Pride's canceled this year.
oh,
That was the gag. I wish I would have found that so I could have said, we could have put it up on the screen for everybody because it was so spot on. I'm like, the accuracy.
that is so true. That is
You
so
know,
true.
she's gonna make money. Who's gonna go see her?
That's true. And you know what's funny too is that tends to be the case that the queer community only ever like, well, a lot of those 80s singers, particularly mainly 80s singers, tend to only keep relevancy actually at Pride, and the gay culture
Oh,
holds
I
them up
live to like,
because
because I usually don't know who the performer is. My friends will be like, come to Long Beach Pride or like something random. And I'm like, sure, what?
yeah.
And then I always live, it's like, I don't know, like Pat Benatar or something. And then all my like
Well, yeah, because those
fantasies
are like
come
the main
back.
ones too. The one who sings "Up in a minute and around again 100."
Oh,
Who's that?
Crystal Waters.
Crystal Waters. They use her for Pride too. And then the other one was, I forget her name, but is
Cece
it Cece
Peniston.
something?
Cece Peniston.
Yeah, Cece.
Finally
They can
in
get her too.
the
Finally, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily listen to it. Like, I know it, but I don't necessarily listen to it.
right.
But they will get it for Pride.
Oh, they had last year for Gay Pride. They had Amber. San
Well, which
Jose
one
Gay
did she
Pride.
sing? What did she sing?
The one who did that Studio 54 song, or no, tonight we're gonna be sexual, make
Oh, do I know
it
that one?
sexual.
But yeah, but it's just like but like it's really just like they kind of just rely on Pride. That's where
Right.
they get most of their fan
Hey,
base is still Pride.
it's a tough world. Make money wherever you can,
But
ladies.
it's interesting that we still support them because you would think we're so like the gays or only want to listen to new, but no, we like them still.
Nobody wants to pay over $5,000 for the entertainer. We'll take
Well,
what we
that's
can
true
get.
too because you will definitely get them for cheap. Because even Gaga started at Pride and now we can't get her anymore.
So this was interesting. Her name is Priyanka, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I put her here because she has my story basically.
Mhm.
Because her parents are Guyanese and so are mine. And I found it interesting too because I've yet to see anyone even really speak on Guyana, let alone have like someone whose parents are from there. So I was just like, and it's part of the storyline, and let alone a drag race. So it's nice to see my culture being represented or my family's
How
culture
did
being
you feel
whatever.
about her father not knowing she did drag, not knowing, he was
Well,
gay?
that's a common tea. She's exactly right. Like the culture, which is why I've never necessarily really, if I'm being honest, I've never really what's the word, like, I don't want to say identify, but I never really like had a connection to the culture. Like I went there when I was a child.
Mhm.
Forget how old to visit. I was like a child though. But I'm not familiar with the culture, like because I've never I was never able to identify myself with it because it's so restrictive and homophobic, and a lot of the times their values are just very like Republican on everything too. Like even to this day, like just like and just, like my family just is
Oh,
very like conservative. So it's like I've never been able to like like how like you're still able to like identify with like, well actually no not really, you don't identify with your Latino heritage, but but
well, I think you bring up a valid point, though. I think if you're born in the States, ultimately
yeah.
you're going to identify with American values and culture more so than the country of origin.
Yeah,
So,
but you could still like want to have a want to like
right.
learn about it and know. But I've never even necessarily ever really had that want. I've always just more because I know
And
of
I
the
feel
culture
like
or just part of it.
if my Spanish was, fluent, I think I would be a little more lean into that a little bit more, but there's like a language barrier there. So that's a big issue for me, so
It
because
could be that too. But
my father doesn't speak Spanish,
but
my
just
mother
knowing
does. So
Yeah.
it's like very, yeah, it's exactly like you said. It's hard to lean into a culture that you
Yeah, exactly.
don't.
I've never been able to lean because the parts of it that I did know based on my upbringing, the base of it, which I was able to understand, was so restrictive and so like I got the gist of it enough to know that it's just like homophobic. And I did, like I said, I went there as when I was a child. Though I can't fully remember it. I remember little bits of it. But for the most part, like I just still understand that the culture is very just like restrictive. So I've never. My point is like I never was able to fully identify and like care enough to want to learn more because it's like, and like he said, like at the end of the day, like I'm a huge like LGBT activist. So when you're telling me that the people can get killed there and shit like that, I don't have an interest whether it's my culture or not. So I've never. So that's what I'm saying. So that's also why, because I remember there'd be times where like my family would be like, "Oh, you should go back home and visit family." And it's just like, no, I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say when I say the not
I'm
wanting
glad
to.
he brought all this up though too, because when we originally clocked him, I thought he was Indian, like from mainland India.
Well, no,
And
because
so,
well, no, because there's like I said before, there's like a lot of in the Indian population too. Like I have like a bunch of
mm,
aunts who are Indian,
oh,
and well, in fact, my grandma was half Indian. So
okay.
like,
I
yeah,
did I did not know that. See, you
hmm
ask some questions, you learn something every day.
yes.
All right. Do we have anything more to say on Miss Priyanka? We
No, nothing. I was glad she told that story because I
Yeah,
liked
definitely.
some
Yeah, there
information.
hasn't been a lot of emotion on the show yet, so I'm glad there was a little moment.
But
So,
actually, I think it's also too because in Canada, from what I do know, like a lot of Guyanese people do immigrate there though, so it makes sense at the same time. But it was still nice to see it on Drag Race.
all right, so here are the judges. Here is Jeffrey in his little short suit here. I do not understand this because, like, why
Who
are
does
you?
it? What is it? Is it Pee Wee Herman? Who was it that? That's who it reminds me.
Yes, that's exactly what this fit is. Now, I love this little Tom Brown, cropped ankle look. I do this a lot, but with a
You
man
do?
with
I've never seen you do that. At least
body.
not that high. I mean, I like crop too, but it should be at your ankles.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I mean, because every time you see me, I'm in San Francisco, so I don't want my ankles to be cold, but I guess I'll do it more down here,
Oh,
the peninsula. So,
right.
but yeah, and then the shoe choice with it, I'm just confused. I'm just really, really
Do they
confused.
have a stylist? Do they like?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, like you said, it's a big enough show where they at least have some sort of wardrobe coordinator. But maybe this is like one of those things where you think it's a good idea, and then you see a picture of yourself, and you're like,
Because I
maybe
mean, they have a fashion week too, but again,
right.
it's just not comparable. Like no shade, like and then I don't know. It's just they're just like that's what I mean. Like why don't we know the Canadian designers is big? Like
I mean,
there's
are there any Canadian designers? I can't even think of one.
well they have Fashion Week. They have Canadian Fashion Week, but
Well, maybe it's like LA Fashion Week, no, but maybe nobody
well
really
true. But I mean we
emerges
still know some
there
of
of
those.
talent.
Like you know what I mean. But I mean
Yeah.
we know. Well, I guess we know because we're in California. But still, like I just feel like we just never get like like we'll get inspired from like we get inspired from like again going back to the UK. We get inspired by the garments and the clothing and the fashion from the UK, but it's like we don't know anything from Canada. It's just like it's really interesting that we don't pick up anything from them.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I never really thought about it too deeply until we talked about it just now.
Yeah. Well,
And
this
then
is getting
Brooklyn,
episode right here.
I'm loving Brooklyn with this little superhero look. She's
Do you? I feel like she looks like a $2 hooker.
well, she does $2 hooker well. Remember when was giving you that Pam Gay look where she had the afro and then she ripped it off and then she became like an 80s video vixen. There's something about Brooklyn where she could be a total slut, but she still looks expensive.
So I guess, sort of. Yeah, I guess.
So she's like the girl that you like give hundreds for, not dollars, but like hundreds, when you make it rain. So,
True.
but yeah, she really does not stick to one look or one aesthetic. She really goes all over the place, from that short
She
little look
does.
she wore last week to now the fire red. And she experiments with a lot of hair colors too. You don't ever see every queen experiment this with
True.
color. And then what did you think about Miss Stacy's illusion?
Wakanda's or Wakanda illusion.
Playing what's that Angela Bassett character Angela Bassett played and
In what?
in
Oh, and Wakanda, yeah, she's giving the
Wakanda.
mom. She played the
That's
mom.
what she's giving you
Yeah, she's got the
Angela
stance too.
Bassett's
How about
sister.
well, yeah. Now speaking of wigs, how about Miss Deborah Cox, and we could see her part
You know,
and
I
no type
think,
of baby hairs or nothing.
right, I think Deborah got to count every penny. It's coming
But they
in
would
for
have
those gay
given, they would
pride
have given,
gigs.
they had a budget for her.
Because she ain't gonna
Like
work
you
the
said,
rest of the 9 months a year. You are right. We really need Rue on this show. You really need Rue to come out at this moment, be like, welcome to Canadian Drag Race. This week, blah, 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 blah. Because it's just underwhelming because we're so trained to know what happens that it's a letdown when Deborah Cox comes out and, and that,
yeah, like yeah, we like the. It just makes sense to be introduced to the judge rather than the judge is the one coming out and introducing people who we already know. Like it's just it like it even if you wanted them, because I think the reason they did it is because they wanted it to be fair. Because I think because they're all equally three judges together, which is really weird though. Because quite frankly, why did they even do that too? Like I'm wondering. It made me start wondering: is it a diversity kind of thing? Just like, well, let's try to have two black bitches, and then of course we have somebody who's part of Drag Race because we can't just have it be Brooklyn because we don't want a white bitch to host it alone. So let's have two. So I
I
think it's
think they
partially
went
that
with
too.
whoever was available. That's what I really
No,
think it
because I'm
came
really
down
trying
to.
because I'm really trying to unpack why it's three. It's just so weird to have three hosts and they're equally hosts, which is why they switch off who gets to
But I
say
think
each
it's
week.
once again, I think it comes down to a format thing. We're so used to seeing a format, we can't even imagine a different format. They
But
haven't.
why? But again, why does it need to? What was don't fix what's broken? What's not
Yeah,
broken?
that's
So
true. That's true.
why did you
I
even
mean,
need to get?
ultimately, at the end of the day, for me, I need Rue on this program. I need Rue to stay interested in this program because Rue's wit is so cunning, and I know a lot of that's written for him, but I would say 50% of it is just off the cuff because that's Rue. These
That is true.
these people cannot make a joke. You
Well,
know,
and they really try hard too, especially like I said, each week I guess they try to give the person who says the time has come. Each week I guess they're going to rotate on who gets to say it, and it's so they're trying to be Rue. It's like just be yourself. They're like
right?
the time has come for the like you don't need to do it like that.
I mean,
Say the time has come.
I
But like the
really,
state.
I do wish that they just had Brooklyn host, like really, really
But
host.
again, I think they were
Really
just. But I think well, again, Brooklyn does make sense, but because she's a drag queen, she's in drag, and she's from Drag Race, so she's familiar, and all those reasons. But again, I think they wanted to have some level of diversity, which is
Well, I
why.
mean, Stacy and I mean, it's like Ross and
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Michelle
Well,
are
exactly,
white,
which is well, exactly, which is why I'm like, why does it need to be three
yeah.
equal hosts? It could have just been that Stacy is the Michelle Visage, and
Hmm.
Jeffrey is the Ross Matthews.
Yeah.
But they don't
I'd,
need to be equal. They
I'd
just
much
need to
rather wear
be on the panel. Huh?
because I don't think they're totally useless, but I don't need to see them that much, to be frank.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't need to each like they're literally taking turns as the RuPaul. That's what they're doing. They're taking turns as the RuPaul, but they don't need to be that. Just pick one RuPaul. Just have it be Brooklyn, I guess. And then they're always there. Like they don't need to share. Like it's just having them be three equal hosts coming out at the same time. It's just really weird. I don't like that. That's the one critique I have about it. It's really weird.
I agree. I agree. Okay, so Kiara did not learn a damn thing with the other one getting kicked off for that gold lame jumpsuit last
Yeah,
week.
she brought this. But I
Then,
mean, this you can't hold this against her though because it's what she brought, and she didn't know that that bitch was gonna make that gold atrocious
right.
thing.
Well, it still
Well, that
has
wasn't
a
that bad,
saggy
but
vagina, just like the
this
other
one too.
one.
Uh, well, so, you know what? I actually kind of like the other one better though, to be honest with you.
Girl, this is just
Because
awful.
at least the other one had visual interest at the bottom with the balls. This just looks like it's from a costume shop.
I mean, it looks like she just cut this and didn't even seam it. It's like,
It just looks cheap. And then, what is up with these girls not wanting to use titties or pads?
you're right. Now that I'm slowing down because I just kind of like was watching this while I was putting away clothes, you're so right. There's really not an emphasis on padding at all. It's
Yeah, like,
confusing.
because she's just kind of giving you just a little gay boy walking down the runway in heels and a wig.
You would see this in anywhere in the United States: San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago,
What do you
any
mean at a drag show?
any drag show. I mean,
Oh
you could
yeah,
just see a queen pumping to wherever in this look. You know,
it's
we've
very
all
it's very common. It's very
we've all
boring.
had a gold lame jumpsuit moment in our lives.
True, but it's just like it's cute for a performance, but that's about it. Like it's cute for a performance to gather tips.
I
be a
just
little
can't
dance
believe she
number.
had
But
the audacity to wear this after that strong.
well, she had. Well, what else was she gonna do? That's what she
Girl,
packed.
she could have borrowed something from one another girl. She could have whipped something up. This is not the way to go.
Do they get time to whip something up?
I don't know. So, what did you think about Jimbo with these big old titties?
I liked it, and it was nice kind of seeing her serve like pretty, if you will, and not clown.
Right. And then, I mean, she's got so
Well,
much
pretty
going
for her.
on here. This like crazy clown wig, the titties,
Well,
the
I mean, no, the hair is clown, but the makeup wasn't clown this time. The makeup was kind of like more like regular fish kind of makeup, like regular woman makeup, like makeup,
you
just like
know,
drag makeup, but
I'm putting some
not
money
clown.
on Jimbo to win this thing. I think she's got
Are you?
I think she's, when you're older, you've just seen more. And this cast just seems very young to me. They all seem very Gen Z. Even though they may not be in that age group necessarily, they all seem very young. I think Jimbo's got like the well-rounded life experience to really kind of um
I'll see her
move
top
into
three,
each,
top four.
top three. I mean, it's definitely a space to watch, but
Yeah.
don't sleep on Jimbo is what I'm saying. So,
Yeah. What do you think of the illusion though? I like it because it's kind of like I like a good
what was
thoughty
the
moment.
category exactly?
Um, it's actually cute. It's Quebecy with the good hair.
I like that.
Wait, go well, that. Why did no one even read the gold LeMay? Because she didn't use hair enough, actually. Come to think of it,
Girl, I just want to stop talking about her. It was a mess.
it's just like because at this the focal point isn't even hair; it's the jumpsuit, and the focal point should have been hair.
Let me use this in a sentence for you. Kiara is a mess, period. I mean, that's all there is to say, from the wig to the outfit to the makeup. Surprised she didn't get the boot.
True. Yeah, no. But this one definitely met the brief because
Yeah,
this is Quebecy with the good hair. She's giving you hair realness.
I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
what did you think about this Taomi Banks look?
She tried it. And what was so interesting was Brooklyn hit the nail on the head when she said it looks like you just glued, or whoever said it, looks like you just glued hair, like glued weave to something, or
Right.
something. But what the shade was when she was doing the lip sync performance, she took off the number and she had a black hair number, and I was just like, that's actually better. Do you
It
remember
was
seeing?
just like cousin it on like tie-dye, it just didn't,
Yeah, it's just
it wasn't
yeah.
very glamorous to me, you
And
know?
I guess she spent time on the hat because the hat kind of had like a basket weave kind of detailing, but even the hat was just no, it just looks cheap and
Yeah,
thrown together.
this is messy here.
It's messy,
Very,
yeah.
very messy. I didn't understand this at all. Okay, I live for like a Russian babushka look. Like, she could have just come out in this and I would have been happy. And then she gave me the Merkin reveal
Well,
look.
no, she couldn't come out with the babushka because the babushka doesn't meet the brief enough of hair. What I did think was a missed opportunity was making a coat, like a fur kind of coat, but have it be made out of hair. I would have liked to have seen that.
I don't know if that reveal would have been that good had you not been so standard. So how'd you feel about the Merkin?
I thought it was funny. It's cute.
But I was living for the joke.
I just like, I don't care what you do as long as you meet the brief. So even if you're gonna do it in the form of funny or you're gonna do it in the form of glamour, just meet the brief at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I guess.
I love when they were like, she needs to take a trip to Brazil. I was living for the jokes for this one.
Oh yeah, they did. They tried with the jokes. Someone probably wrote them for him. No shade.
Yeah. Yeah. Lemon, I loved this. This is probably my favorite one.
I
So
like, but just minor details,
with the
the little
lemon
tick.
tree, she really like sticks it to you with her brand, like by wearing
She
yellow
does.
or
But these minor changes would have styling choices. This just styling choices.
What would you have
So
changed?
I would have changed the shoe to a brown shoe
I
to
did.
continue the lines of the brown, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Because
You
yeah,
didn't feel
it's like a
the yellow offset the brown?
no, but then it takes away from the storyline because that's supposed to be the tree bark, and then the
Uh,
top part is the branches. You see what I mean?
well, the
So
lemon
take away
fell
the
on the ground.
huh?
The lemon fell on the ground.
No, bitch, because it just takes away from the trunk. Because when she's standing still, it just. I mean, I get you. I guess it could be it fell on the
But
ground, but no,
a brown shoe
it would
can
have been
read
it would
ugly
have been
real easy.
stronger, huh?
A brown shoe can read ugly real easy.
I know, but it would have just been stronger if everything kind of fell into itself and she literally just looks like a
I see your point. I was trying to play devil's advocate with the lemon
I
sauce.
know. I do it all the time too, so I'm glad you're doing it. So yeah, and then another thing I would have did was take away that belt because it takes away from the
Yeah,
fantasy
I just
of it.
noticed that. I didn't clock this the first time. Why is it so low? Why is it a little
Yeah.
more?
Well, it doesn't need to be there at all because it takes away from like trees don't have belts on them, so it's
Yeah,
like
I
what the
guess
fuck,
that's true.
especially glittery ones like that. What the fuck? And take away
Yeah,
the
I mean,
bracelet as
she might
well.
have been clocked for like under accessorizing. So, but
No, it would have been fine because you it have met the brief, and then and she looks more like if she didn't have that cinching.
mhm.
I get you want having the first instinct to want to cinch, but you're a tree. A tree isn't cinched. It's boxy. This is the one time it's
Yeah,
okay
it
to
would
be
have been like
boxy.
kind of cute. She even did leaves as a belt. So
Maybe, but I think stick to realness is sometimes okay. Just be an actual tree stump, and it's okay to be boxy this time because at least you're being a character.
okay, what did you think about Priyanka and her little
I liked it. My only
Northwest
that's why
Afro
I added
Puff
those two
moment?
pictures. That's why I added those two pictures. Is I liked it. I just thought the back looked unfinished by
Mhm.
not having it go across the back
Yeah. Um,
on the
it's
butt.
all right. I mean, it's very like Northwest grown up. It's a
It's
little.
a little bit. It's a little bit. Not to read my Guyanese sister, but it's a little cheap, but it meets the brief because it's all made of hair. So she
I
gets sent
just
to
wish I
sent up.
don't dislike her hair. I think that's a very cute hairstyle and a very cute wig. But for Becky with the good hair, you want like big hair, or something
Well,
that
no, but
really,
everything's made out of hair though.
I guess. But I wanted her actual hair to
To be bigger. Yeah, I guess
be
I no,
bigger.
I see your point too, for sure. This bitch tried it.
It's just funny to me.
Like, you know what? It's good. The first one's good. The back is good. But this is where cohesion would have been nice
Yeah.
because where the fuck did Chung Lee come from? Like, I like the first one. I do because it's hair realness, but figure out how to tie in the first one to make sense with the second one.
Right. I'm just like living for this little image on the left, and I just see myself coming out of COVID at the club, just being like dancing in this outfit.
Right?
Oh dear. Rita Baga. Um, like I just don't understand this. Like I just don't get
It's
it.
not Becky with the good hair. She should have almost been in the bottom for that because she didn't meet the
I
brief.
mean, that was
She's
like
wearing a
it would have met the brief if it was a Rocky Horror Picture Show challenge, but that's
yeah,
the
like
brief.
yeah, it's like you're wearing a wig that you would have worn anyway if wearing a garment like that. Like how is hair the focal point? The illusion's the focal point.
I I'm just very confused by this.
Yeah, I'm just like, no. They gave her chance though. Hmm?
I have a soft spot for Scarlet Bobo.
Yeah. Well, see, this
uh,
is an example of because she technically did the same thing as Tainomi,
mhm.
but
But I
hers is
love that
executed
but
better.
did you clock that it said Bobo in her hair?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She just executed it better.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't see it. Did you put her up?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, I don't see her. No.
okay. Hold on.
I was like, wait, what? How do
No,
you see it?
because if you can't see it, then the audience can't see it.
That's what I mean. But yeah, like it's cute. Like it's a better shape. It's a cute shape. But I feel yeah, like somehow it's a similar idea as Tainomi, but she executed better by giving herself a better neckline, shape on the side because it doesn't go all the way around. It doesn't look like she just hot glued it. It looks like at least there was some kind of design detail and some type of design behind it. So that's what makes it better. And then she just all the other elements like the bobo and the hair. So it just looks more expensive than Tainomi's.
And then Alona Verley. So she loves to have those little titties out. That's her favorite thing to do.
It
Now,
is.
I was like, girl, you already did this, like with the icicle challenge. Like we've seen this from her already.
But it's cute. It's cute.
That's all right.
I
I don't
like it. It looks expensive. It doesn't look like it's from a party store.
I don't hate it. I don't love it.
It looks custom and it meets the brief.
Okay, now who are these two? What are their names?
So Tainomi and Anastasia.
And then how are you feeling about the sync?
It was well. See, go back. Like, see, look at her illusion at what she's performing in. That was underneath all that mess. I'm just like, well, that is actually, you should have came out in just that. That's better. I think that's why when she did her reveal or whatever, when she took it off, I think that's why Brooklyn Heights kind of gagged, because she kind of was probably like, that shit, that looks better.
Her body definitely looks better. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it may not be like in your face hair, but it's made out of hair, so it's like, why did you not come in that? Because it certainly looks better than that. It looks kind of chic. It just looks better, because then you could have played off of that and did like a big hair. So she really fucked up by not having that be and scrapping that rainbow number and just having it been that. She might have been safe.
And then who won out of these two?
Tainomi.
Okay. And
because she said I have to bring it because I used to background dance for this bitch. So if I don't bring it, it's shameful.
Was Deborah feeling it?
It seemed like she was, but again, who makes her the authority on dancing anyway? But she's a singer. No, I'm not like, it's no read. I'm just.
That sounded like a read.
I'm just saying, it's just like, it's not like someone who could speak to the dancing, like, oh, you slayed my song, and I can also speak to the dancing part too, because I'm a dancer as well, like a J-Lo. Like, that's when the dancing performance would be. She could speak to the lip syncing portion, but she can't speak to the dancing and the full on performance, because she really just, when she was performing, she just stood still and sung. But and again, it's not a read. She's still a gay icon. It's just true tea. Now, when you want to start asking about the whole production of the performance value, is when you have like a J-Lo, because then she can speak to the syncing, and she can also speak to the dancing. Or if you have a Todrick, he can speak to both things too. But no, not a Deborah Cox, and no, not a like those, pretty much any of those 80s queens.
Right. So I'm not really connecting with the cast. I don't know what it is. I'm not really gagged by anybody. I'm not gagged by, like, sometimes, on regular Drag Race, these girls have me hooked on them like episode 1 or 2. Like, I loved Heidi right away. I thought she was so funny. I'm talking about like that force that's like, getting me to watch it in time. I mean, like, you sent me this link and I watched it this morning. It's not like I was like beating down your door being like, do you have the new Canada Drag Race? Like, it's like.
But did you do that for the last All Stars? Did you do that for All Stars 12?
I haven't even watched All Stars. It's Monday and it came out Friday. And
Drag Race 12. Were you doing that for 12?
Oh.
Catfish on the season?
I don't even know. We're gonna have to see. So I just think there's only so much talent to go around worldwide.
Because I was actually outside of Heidi, I wasn't necessarily really feeling anyone from that cast from 12. Like, I wasn't like super excited to watch it. Like, I'd be like, oh, it's on. I'm All Stars of the season where I'm really feeling. Huh?
They're closing down Therapy. It's a bar in New York, and they have a lot of drag shows there. So they just announced it on Instagram this morning, and then everybody had a damn photo of Jan on Instagram for the closing of Therapy. So I had to see Jan all damn morning.
They're closing it down indefinitely, or
definitely. I don't think it was doing very well, like pre-COVID and now.
Really?
Thing. So yeah.
But I thought you said everyone performs there.
It's bars in New York, it's not like San Francisco where they become like a classic, like the Stud. It's like waves and flows. Something's gonna be hot for like 10 years and then nobody goes there anymore, and then the whole cycle starts. Girl, it's right across the street from another popular bar. They'll have something open up there and rebrand the whole thing. Once COVID's over, I ain't even worried.
Well, yeah, but I feel like for like season 12, I wasn't necessarily like super like, oh my god, I can't wait to see it. I was just like, oh, it's cute.
Gigi?
But
what about Gigi?
I liked Gigi, but even her, like, no one's personality to me was that much of a gag. Mm-hmm. Like, there was no Shangela equivalent or like a Bob the drag queen equivalent, and like just like real.
When I see Shanji, like in the early days, oh, she was so low budget, poor thing.
She was.
She didn't really know any better, but you saw star quality, and I think that's
what you did. That's what I'm saying. Like, no one necessarily had like super
a lot of
star quality. Like, with 12, there was like like no one really was just like, oh my god, I'm captivated by them, or even just like the drama that came behind it too. There was not really much of that, and I feel like that's what we're missing too.
And it's like Ruth said about Heidi. She goes, "You are a star, 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 star."
Yeah, Heidi was the exception though, because she carried the whole season.
You have to just have it, you know. You have
yeah, she carried the whole season. But All Stars, at least I know them, so I'm more connected to it. So I do get
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm still, even though I'm kind of bored with All Stars this season, I'm still like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Juju? Is it going to be?
Yeah, no, that's going to be good. The finale. Well, and I guess they shot the finale already. They don't need to do it virtually, huh?
Oh, I don't even know about any of that. I really don't.
It seems like they shot it already, because I didn't hear anything about them doing a virtual one. So I guess they already shot it.
I guess
because I think what they do is they do like, oh, I won. Now you do it. Oh, I won. Oh, now you do it. Oh, I won. And then Rue decides who he's gonna let win, based off of the response that he's been seeing from while the show's been airing, and then he'll like be like, okay, we'll give it to them.
Right.
So, but I think everyone does a take of them pretending to win.
Yeah, exactly. Because I always love the like low budget videos of them at the gay bar where they actually find out they win. And
yeah,
like,
exactly. So I guess they shot it already. Okay. But it's going to be interesting to see who they're going to win. But I think they'll probably give it to Shay.
Yeah.
Depending upon how, we don't know what the finale is going to serve.
Yeah.
But just based on Shay's track
record. But my money's on Shay, though.
But you definitely shouldn't give it. I mean, as much as I like Cracker, now is definitely not the time to give it to a white bitch named Cracker. No Shay.
Well, Bob named her. Bob named her.
I know, but I just think that I think there'd be a little bit of there'd be some talk on the internet
there's always talk on the internet. I'm sick of people coming for Rue. I really, really am. So
true. But outside of that though, Shay does deserve it. Shay honestly is just seasoned then.
Consistent, very consistent.
She's just more seasoned overall than all of them. Like they all have their things, but Shay's just all around. Like
Shay is a true blue professional. So
yeah. Whereas like Cracker is kind of she's kind of only good with comedy. And Juju is, well, I don't know what's Juju good at. No, I'm just kidding. No, Juju's funny, but she's not good at necessarily comedy.
Juju said that legendary comment about Tyra Banks when they were like, "You need this talent."
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I said. She's funny though, but that's not comedy like in the traditional sense.
You know, anytime I feel bad, that's the little clip I watch.
Like Juju's funny, so it would go Cracker's a comedy queen, and then Juju's funny. But then she don't lip sync the house down boots.
Juju can lip sync. I've actually seen her live. She can really do it. She's not one of those ones where she's going to give you like a stunt or a gag, but you just turn on some CC Peniston.
She can sing. We clocked that she can sing.
Like that.
We clocked that she can sing. We've learned that. Mm-hmm. But then it's just like, but then fashions is no. And I'm sorry, today in drag, you really should be you should really be serving the kids fashion, and she misses that. So for her not having a real good fashion aesthetic, I want to take her out of the running solely on that, to be honest with you. As much as I like her and as much as I think she's funny, I really want to narrow it down to just Cracker and Shay. Because it's unacceptable to be that.
Get some comments.
I'm sorry, it's unacceptable to be that cheap as a drag queen and have that lack of taste. She lacks taste, and I don't care. And I said what I said.
I love how we reversed places this week. So.
Well, but no, because don't make it sound like I'm trying it like on some like I hate her the way you hate Jan. I still live for Juju. I just say I'm not giving her any of my votes because she doesn't have a fashion sense. She has the fashion sense of someone from Modesto.
Ooh.
So
for everybody today.
No, I'm just kidding. But
do you know Sasha Devereaux from Modesto? Queen from Modesto? Do you know Sasha Devereaux, the Queen from Modesto? Oh, she give you like pads. She actually shaves them in a cone. Like she makes her own pads at home. Like shaves them down to fit.
Oh wow!
I've been meaning to go out to her house to watch her do it one day because I'm fascinated by the whole.
Well, I mean, Cracker's sister made that padded number she wears.
Oh,
yeah, she said it on the thing, and I was just like, ooh, the hips look kind of low, but it's kind of cute. It looks, because it's just she can just put it on, so it's genius. But no, I think because think about it, like all of the queens, well, with the exception of Evie Oddly, none of the queens, and even her, she was fine because it was still her aesthetic. No one was just horrible at fashion. Well, actually, well, I guess, well, what's her name was, what's that comedy queen who we're always reading from Seattle?
Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx is horrible at fashion, but she saved it because she was so good at comedy. And I guess in a pinch, Juju could save it because she is really funny, but we already have Cracker, who's so good at comedy, and she actually brings it for fashion too. And I say that the next Drag Race superstar needs to be fashionable, because especially now. So I want to take Juju out the running, and I said what I said. No, you're not gonna shop on. Well, actually, it was what's her name? What's her name? Who shopped on Amazon? But she also looks like she shops at Amazon. So you're out of the running, sweetie. And I live for you. And you're funny as fuck. I'm always gonna support you. But no, you do not deserve to be RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars because you are cheap and you don't have a fashion sense. And I said what I said.
Well, let's end it
So
on that. So, because it's not about All Stars, it's about Canada Drag
I
Race.
know. Well,
It is
we got
about 2 hours.
well because we're not doing an All Stars episode this week.
Well,
So
we're going to do our All Stars wrap up next week after the finale. And then we've
yeah.
actually got some special videos, so it's going to take us a little more time. So you might not see us for a second, but
Yes.
we're going to like what we're serving you.
Yes, we're gonna do some surprises for you guys.
All
but
right.
yeah.
Ronald, what
So
are they going to do?
everyone subscribe below.
And
like and
repost,
share.
comment, interact. We want to know what you are thinking.
Yes. Subscribe. Yes.
All right. Bye,
Love you guys.
everyone.